From New Delhi, you're watching DD India NewsHour, India's voice to the world. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. Coming up in the next hour, the UN General Assembly adopts resolution on Palestinians' bid to become a full UN member. India votes for it, but Israel and the US vote against the move. Israel orders people from more areas in the southern Gaza city of Rafah to evacuate to safety. The US announces a new $400 million military aid package for Ukraine. And campaigning for the fourth phase of India's parliamentary election to end on Saturday. 96 seats in 10 states go to the polls on the 13th of May. All right, first up, let's get you the latest on the world's largest democratic election in India. Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed election rallies in different cities across the state of Odisha on Saturday. He was to head to neighbouring Jharkhand afterwards. The Prime Minister said in Kandhamal that support for the BJP shows that people of Odisha are tired of the ruling party's misgovernance.
आप लिख के रखिए मेरे देशवासियों, हिंदुस्तान ने मन बना लिया है कि इस बार एनडीए 400 पार करने वाला है। भाजपा अपने सारे पुराने रिकॉर्ड तोड़ करके ज्यादा से ज्यादा सांसद के साथ आने वाली है। और कांग्रेस वाले ये भी लग ले कि इस चुनाव में कांग्रेस को लोकसभा की कुल संख्या के 10% चाहिए मान्य विपक्ष बनने के लिए। कांग्रेस वाले जरा कान खोल करके सुन लीजिए, ये देश ने तय किया है, ये 4 जून को आप देखेंगे कि कांग्रेस इस देश में मान्य विपक्ष भी नहीं बन पाएगा। वो 50 से नीचे सिमटने वाले हैं।
Meanwhile, Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge said during a press conference by the opposition alliance in Bihar's capital Patna that the mood in Andhra Pradesh and Telangana show what he calls a change in power.
मुझे बताते हुए अत्यंत प्रसन्नता है कि मोदी जी के लिए सरकार बना पाना अत्यंत मुश्किल है। कल मैं एक तरफ मेरा पब्लिक मीटिंग था और तेलंगाना में उनका भी एक पब्लिक मीटिंग था। वो देखने के बाद ऐसा लग रहा था कि जो वो हमेशा अपनी बात जो रखते थे, बड़े एक अभिमान के साथ बोलने का और गर्व के साथ बोलने का जो था, वो उसमें नहीं दिख रहा था।
All right, time to bring in DD India's reporters covering the election from the ground. With me now are my colleagues Akshay Dongre and Siddharth Bharadwaj. Akshay is at Hyderabad in Telangana and Siddharth is at Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh. To you first, Akshay, are the candidates there making one last attempt to woo voters before the campaigning closes in a short while from now?
Well, absolutely, Ramesh. In fact, we have just attended a press conference by the former Chief Minister of Telangana, Mr. K. Chandrasekhar Rao, who is the leader of the Bharat Rashtra Samiti as well, where he had asked his supporters to make one last push as far as campaigning is concerned across the state, and has asked people and the party workers to in fact reach out to every nook and corner to fight the Congress as well as the Bharatiya Janata Party, not just here in Hyderabad city but across all the constituencies of the state. Now, reminding our viewers that all of the 17 constituencies of Telangana go for polls on the 13th of May, that is the fourth phase of the Indian general elections, where all of these constituencies will be casting their vote, and that is the reason why it becomes extremely important that the campaigning, before it ends, all of the political parties in fact send out their messages to the voters and to their party cadres as well, who are in fact preparing for the general elections. This is a high stakes battle, and that is why it's not just the Bharat Rashtra Samiti but also Union Home Minister Amit Shah is in Hyderabad right now. He held a press conference at 3 p.m. as well here in the city. The Congress leadership, including the Chief Minister, including the Congress President, in fact the former Congress President Rahul Gandhi, all of them have been touring the city quite frequently, not just concentrating on the big cities but going to the rural areas as well. We have seen in the last Legislative Assembly elections, Ramesh, that the political scenario has changed completely in the state. The state which was carved out of Andhra Pradesh has been seeing a strong sentiment for the regional parties, a party that were fighting for Telangana. However, that all has changed in the past few years, with the state going and supporting the Congress party candidates in the last legislative election, giving them majority of seats in the state. In fact, they were given 64 out of 119 seats, and the Telangana Rashtra Samiti, or that is now called Bharat Rashtra Samiti, only could get about 39 seats after ruling the state for 10 years. In fact, in the last general elections, Ramesh, we saw that it was a high-stake battle, and despite the TRS having national ambitions, even then it could only get 9 out of the 17 seats. BJP got 4 out of 17 seats, and the Congress party got 3, whereas 1 seat going to the AIMIM regional party that is here concentrated in Hyderabad. So it is going to be a very interesting battle to see that what is in the mind of the people of Telangana, especially given the fact that now the state having more national ambitions in terms of connectivity, in terms of better infrastructure. They are in fact exploring all of their options and not just limiting themselves to regional identity. So that is going to be quite interesting to see that what exactly is in store for the political parties as far as the voters are concerned. Back to you.
Right, Akshay, do stay on. Let me also bring in my third colleague, Amit Mukherjee, who is joining us from Ratlam in Madhya Pradesh. But before that, let me go across to Siddharth Bharadwaj, who is joining us from Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh. Siddharth, talk to us a bit more about the Kanpur constituency.
A very good evening to you, Ramesh. As far as the Kanpur constituency is concerned, that this particular constituency is divided. I mean, you know, there are 5 Vidhan Sabha segments in this constituency, namely Govind Nagar, Arya Nagar, you have the Kanpur Cantonment, Sismau. So these are the 5 segments of this particular constituency. And as far as the political landscape is concerned here, Ramesh, then I'm here in Kanpur, and as far as Kanpur is concerned, then from BJP's side, Ramesh, Avasthi has been fielded, and from the Congress's side, India Alliance, you have Alok Mishra, who has been fielded by the INC. So interestingly, this time around, both the candidates are new faces. Unlike in 2019, wherein Shri Prakash Jaiswal was against the sitting MP Satyadev Pachauri. So this time around, you know, both the faces are fresh faces, and somewhere down the line, Congress is thinking that they might win from this seat, whereas the BJP is campaigning. The campaigning is going on in full swing, and in few hours the campaigning will be stopped. So basically, the political landscape here is quite interesting. And you know, as far as Kanpur is concerned, Ramesh, then it is also a business hub and leather hub, and also perhaps the financial capital of Uttar Pradesh. So as far as the competition is concerned, then it's going to be a very intense battle between both the political parties. And as far as the political landscape here is concerned, then the battle is certainly going to be interesting when the people here in Kanpur will go to polls on May 13th. Back to you, Ramesh.
All right, from Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh, let me now go across to Amit Mukherjee, who is standing by at Ratlam in Madhya Pradesh. Amit, will the tribal vote decide the election outcome in Ratlam? Is the contest going to be between the Congress and the BJP?
Well, definitely, Ramesh, the contest is between the BJP and Congress. But the thing is, yes, the tribal vote will decide. But the thing is that who the tribal votes, because both BJP and Congress, they are outweighing the tribal voters right now. And Ratlam is one of the constituencies which is seeing absolutely sort of a fight between Congress and BJP. Because apart from this particular constituency, the other 7 constituencies are fairly, the sentiments out there are pretty subdued. And if you look at 2019, all the 8 were backed by BJP. The only contest that has been, thrown right now, some challenge to the BJP right now is Ratlam, because in the last assembly elections, the outcome which came forward, it gave some edge to the Congress, which is why even BJP is right now putting a lot of emphasis on the Ratlam constituency right now. And in fact, even Prime Minister in February, he had kind of unveiled projects to the tune of 7,500 crores. Absolutely, those were focused to kind of woo the tribal voters. Now, even Congress is going all out. They are kind of, focusing on the manifesto, on the manifesto which they have kind of come out with for the 2024 elections, where there's a lot of cash doles and incentives for voters, who actually come and, they are the ones who are looking forward for some sort of, a comeback. Because BJP right now, they are again harping on the developmental issues. And that is what the fight is right now in Ratlam is about. Both are like going all out. They are leaving no stones unturned to woo the voters. And at the end of the, barely about 3 to 4 hours left right now for the campaigning to end. And the candidates are going all out to woo the voters right now, because Ratlam right now, it seems one of the areas where BJP and Congress, who are the arch rivals in Madhya Pradesh, they are kind of, battling it out right now.
All right, we leave it at that. Amit Mukherjee at Ratlam in Madhya Pradesh, Siddharth Bharadwaj at Kanpur in Uttar Pradesh, and Akshay Dongre at Hyderabad in Telangana. Thank you for now. Much appreciated. So campaigning will close in a few hours from now for the 4th phase of India's parliamentary election. Meanwhile, BJP President JP Nadda held a roadshow at Tirupati in Andhra Pradesh. All 25 parliamentary seats in the state are going to the polls on the 13th of May. BJP leader Amit Shah addressed gatherings at Chevella and Nagar Kurnool towns in the southern state of Telangana. Priyanka Gandhi of the Congress party addressed a public meeting in Maharashtra. She was to hold another meeting at Tandur in Telangana. Delhi Chief Minister and Aam Aadmi Party leader Arvind Kejriwal held a press conference in the national capital, New Delhi, after getting interim bail on Friday. He will hold a roadshow later in the day. Still to come on DD India NewsHour. Russia claims to have repelled a string of Ukrainian attacks on its territory. And Iraq wants UN assistance mission to wind up next year.
we are taking a close look at the continent of Europe, the European Union in specific, how it has strengthened and become a major player in the world, and the challenges and opportunities for the European Union as it navigates a difficult global scenario.
We want to be and we are a strong pillar in the world architecture, but we want to engage and we are engaging India precisely as a partner who plays by the rules. So much we can do together because we are democracies, largest democracies. We are playing by the rules. We respect UN Charter. We have not attacked our neighbors.
Wars have not always been fought in the battlefield. If technology has become a threat for us, it has also given us an opportunity.
There is quote-unquote an enemy within as well, which is playing the foreign powers game. So it's become far more sophisticated.
As far as the level of preparedness among the people is concerned, well, I think that we are not yet prepared.
The biggest problem and the first problem that who is the enemy? In such a situation, it's very difficult to identify because of technological reasons.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. In some more election-related news from India, 8 seats in West Bengal go to the polls in the 4th phase of election on the 13th of May. All eyes are on the Ranaghat constituency. The BJP had won the seat in the last election held in 2019, but the TMC is going all out to win it. Devyendra Mondal has more.
Some 130 kilometers away from the capital city of Kolkata lies the temple town of Mayapur, which is now a part of the Ranaghat Lok Sabha constituency in West Bengal. This small but internationally recognized town comes to prominence because of the world's largest ISKCON temple being situated here. This temple town thrives on tourism. With temples dotted around the entire township, Mayapur attracts tourism from around the world. Many from the far-off countries like that of Europe and America have been living here for decades, leaving behind their successful life only for their sheer devotion to Lord Krishna.
I've been here for the last 20 years. Srila Prabhupada and Gauranga Mahaprabhu brought me here, I would say, because this is the birthplace of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. I came here to practice Krishna Bhakti and Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and I'm very happy to be here.
To witness the evening aarti here at the Mayapur temple, thousands of devotees, not just from India but from across the world, queue up every day. Tourism has over the years given a boost to the economy of this temple town in Mayapur, which was otherwise a mostly rural and an agrarian society.
Most of my day is the seva to Krishna, is purpose of my life now. They say when people 25 years old, they need learn. From 25 to 50, need, family or business. And after 50, it's good they give time to God.
But the election fervor has now even gripped this temple town. The reserved seat of the Ranaghat Lok Sabha constituency is witnessing a three-corner fight amongst the BJP, the TMC and the left. While the BJP has fielded its sitting Member of Parliament, Jagannath Sarkar, the TMC has fielded the turncoat Mukut Mani Adhikari, who joined the TMC just days ahead of the election, leaving the BJP. While the left is also throwing its weight around here in this constituency. This Lok Sabha constituency was won by the BJP in 2019 by a huge margin. The politics of Ranaghat circles around the hotly debated Citizenship Amendment Act, or the CAA, while the Saffron party is trying to cash in on the issue by granting legal citizenship to lakhs of refugees or Matuas that form a large chunk of voters here. The TMC is trying to corner the BJP on this same issue. from the temple towns to the complex nature of the constituency of Ranaghat. Despite that, the political parties are ensuring that they are able to woo the voters to cast vote for them. But it will be the people from here that will decide who their representative would go to the Parliament of India in Delhi. With camera person PK, this is Dibyendu Mondal from Ranaghat in West Bengal for DD India.
Now, Andhra Pradesh is still coming to terms with its pace of development. Some believe it is too slow, while others think it is progressing at the right speed and in the right direction. Young voters have gone beyond the demand for a special status for the state. Now they're looking for infrastructure to create opportunities for themselves in order to compete with cities such as Hyderabad and Bengaluru. Mark Lynn reports.
The state of Andhra Pradesh sees itself as a new state, just 10 years old, finding its way to a path of sustained development. The election is a time when people take stock of what has been achieved since the last time they voted in 2019. The issues in this election are many, and the key is speed. Speed of implementation, and trying to move beyond past assurances that seem stuck in time, like the special category status, Polavaram irrigation project, the proposed privatization of Visakhapatnam steel plant, among others. Since the loss of Hyderabad to the state of Telangana, Andhra Pradesh has seen two governments of the TDP and the YSRCP. Both have tried to create the right infrastructure for economic growth and investment in the state, but there is a question of where.
Naidu said that 2014 when he came, Amaravati would be the greenfield capital. And that time it was on the floor of the House, agreed by both the parties. Okay, go ahead. Then Jagan comes back and says that we will not have one capital, we'll have three capital under the factor of decentralized development. So as of now, as you said, we don't know which is the capital.
Visakhapatnam has the tranquility of the sea on the one side, and right now the turbulence of an election campaign on the other, which is entering its final lap as parties make that last effort to get their message out to the voter. The city has a vibrant startup culture with over 76 startups across sectors.
It's not about the government which is ruling here. It's not about any particular party, but we have an ocean of opportunities. Visakhapatnam is accessible and Andhra Pradesh is quite accessible for any kind of business as of now, and we are seeing profits here.
Many youth still hope that parts of Andhra Pradesh can resemble the big city of Hyderabad lost to Telangana, that they feel still provides more opportunities than emerging capitals in Andhra Pradesh.
Compared to Telangana, Hyderabad, I think there is a past 3 years there is no development here.
Lack of opportunities, they are get migrated to Hyderabad, Bangalore, Chennai, so and so. So when compared to past 5 years, Vizag is growing in IT sector. Vizag could compete with Hyderabad as well in future.
Newborn state should be developed. So whichever government is coming, they need to focus not only the capital proposed place, but everything they need to look over in developing other structures too. But end of the day, these people shouldn't fight over an issue of the word capital, but they need to make sure that they're developing on every side of the state.
At the end of the day, the people are drivers of change. The pace of development has a speedometer attached to it. For some, the speed is not fast enough. For others, the image in front of them needs more clarity, more vision. For still others, both the speed and the image in front of them are just right. With cameraman Piyush Vardhan Verma, this is Mark Lynn, DD India, Visakhapatnam.
From Andhra Pradesh, let me now take you to the northernmost state of the country. Now, India ranks second in the world in saffron cultivation, and it's Jammu and Kashmir where it's cultivated the most. As elections continue in the Union Territory, saffron farmers are putting forth their concerns. Ramatyagi reports from Pampore.
A decade ago, Kashmir's saffron farmers were staring at an uncertain future. The yields were dropping and experts were not very optimistic about the future of saffron farming. But all that has changed now.
Definitely, why not? Every day by day there is a change. There is a day by day there is going for change. Why not? From last 10 years, from last 15 years, from last 2 years. If you go before 20 years, there is one thing. Now after 20 years, there is other thing. Definitely digitalization, definitely the farmer mechanization. We have clearly going our farming through the mechanization. Therefore, labor component goes down because of the mechanization. The government of Department of Agriculture issuing all the mechanization to the farming community so that they are going for the field operations very well. So I think it is better. The government are doing very well.
Pampore, a tiny town in Kashmir, is the epicenter of saffron production. The farmers here want to increase saffron production and are seeking a better support system.
Every time we are in a position, we are in a stress, we are in a request to our government that these are several issues of the farmers were represented in front of the government. Which government coming in the next 1-2 months, inshallah. And we have a very good plan, we have a very good policy of the farming community, and we have a very good forum of the farming community. Each and every time we are ready to fight for the farming community.
Saffron prices in India have skyrocketed since the Kesar from Jammu and Kashmir was given the geographical indication tag. But still, scope for improvement exists. Farmers know that the elections have brought the leaders to their doorsteps, and they want to utilize the same for ensuring that the centuries-old tradition of saffron farming survives the challenges of 21st century.
Although the political fight over here is very interesting right now, so many parties are in the fray. Apart from regional parties, apart from conventional parties, some new faces are also there in fight. But the farmer of Saffron city, they are saying that who will pay attention on their issues, they will cast vote only in their favor. With camera person Vinod Oja, this is Rama Tyagi, DD News, Pampore.
And in some more news from India, the country celebrates National Technology Day on the 11th of May. It marks the anniversary of the nuclear tests conducted by India in 1998. The day honors scientists and researchers.
In a world driven by innovation, there comes a day to celebrate the brilliance that propels us forward. Welcome to the National Technology Day, an annual observance that pays tribute to the relentless pursuit of scientific excellence and technological advancement. May 11th marks a pivotal moment in history. It was on this day in 1998 that India showcased its prowess in nuclear technology through the groundbreaking Pokhran test, a testament to our nation's commitment to progress and innovation.
In 2024, the celebration will include events, seminars and discussions highlighting India's achievements and advancements in science, technology and innovation. It also provides an opportunity to reflect on how technology has transformed our lives and continues to drive the progress in various fields, from healthcare to digital communications to sustainable development and clean energy.
Initiated by the visionary leader, former Prime Minister Atal Bihari Vajpayee, National Technology Day stands as a beacon of inspiration for generations to come.
Nowhere else in the world have we witnessed the digital transformation of an entire country with more than 1 billion people who have access to digital technology, thus bridging this vast digital divide. This includes initiatives like DigiLocker, Aadhaar, MyGov, UPI, and all other massive digital public infrastructure initiatives which are actually served free as digital public goods.
But this day is not just about looking back, it is about embracing the future. This year, the theme resonates with the urgency of our times: clean and green technologies for a sustainable future. It is a clarion call to harness the innovation for the betterment of our planet. By celebrating the National Technology Day, we are igniting the curiosity and enthusiasm of young minds, inspiring a new generation of innovators who will drive progress and lead us towards a brighter tomorrow. Wish you all a happy National Technology Day. With camera person Mahesh Sharma, this is Taposh Bhattacharya for DD India from Delhi.
Still to come on DD India NewsHour. An expert's take on UN General Assembly backing Palestinian bid for membership.
How bad is climate change for us Indians? And 80% of our population lives in districts that are at risk of climate-induced disaster?
It is a concrete structure. It is a groundwater tank. So they collect the water, store it. When they go deeper after 10 feet, they used to get the saline water.
We are now at a much warmer. So the 1.2 degrees Celsius of warming means that every single heat wave is now hotter, longer and more likely.
What people need to know is when is it going to start raining? When is it going to stop? If we provide this information, people can make their plans accordingly.
We just don't bring you the news as it unfolds. We get to the heart of the matter.
We don't just present facts, we demystify complex social, political and economic events.
We break stories that shape the world's present and future because you deserve the truth.
I am Tanvi Taneja from New Delhi.
I'm Ollie Barrett from London.
I'm Nick Harper from Washington, D.C.
Join us on DD India Global Monday to Friday at these times.
You're watching DD India News Hour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. A quick recap of the headlines. Campaigning for fourth phase of India's parliamentary election to end on Saturday. 96 seats in 10 states go to the polls on 13th May. Israel orders people from more areas in the southern Gaza city of Rafah to evacuate to safety. And the UN General Assembly adopts resolution on Palestinians' bid to become a full UN member. India votes for it, but Israel and the US vote against the move. Right, so the UN General Assembly on Friday witnessed a historic moment as the international community overwhelmingly supported a Palestinian bid for full UN membership. Despite opposition from 9 countries and abstentions from 25 others, the resolution received a broad support with 144 countries voting in its favor.
The result of the vote is as follows. In favor, 143. Against, 9. Abstentions, 25. Draft Resolution A/ES10/L30/Rev1 is adopted.
United Nations General Assembly on Friday backed a Palestinian bid to become a full UN member by recognizing it as qualified to join and recommending the United Nations Security Council to reconsider the matter favorably. Out of the total votes casted, the resolution got 143 votes in favor, including India's.
En faveur du projet de résolution,
France voted in favor of the draft resolution proposed by the United Arab Emirates. This provides new rights to the observer state of Palestine within the United Nations.
I am pleased to deliver the statements and introduce a draft resolution which at its core recommends that the Security Council considers Palestine application of full membership in the United Nations.
9 countries, including the US, Israel and Hungary voted against the bid, while 25 countries abstained from voting.
So today, I will hold up a mirror for you. This is your mirror. So that you can see exactly what you are inflicting upon the UN Charter with this destructive vote. You are shredding the UN Charter with your own hands. Yes, that's what you're doing, shredding the UN Charter. Shame on you.
Currently, Palestine is a non-member observer state at the United Nations. Being a member will allow Palestine to participate in proceedings of the world body, but they cannot vote on a resolution.
The Reuters news agency reported that Israel on Saturday called on residents from more areas of Rafah in the Gaza Strip to evacuate and head to safety in the Al-Mawasi area of the enclave. The news agency quoted a social media post by the Israeli military's Arabic spokesperson. The United States on Friday said that Israel's use of American-made weapons may have violated international humanitarian law during its military operation in Gaza. The assessment came in a 46-page unclassified State Department report to the U.S. legislature. It's required under a new national security memorandum that President Joe Biden issued in February. The U.S. government stopped short of a definitive assessment, saying that because of the chaos in Gaza, it could not verify instances where use of those weapons might have been involved in the alleged breaches. The Biden government has already put on hold one package of arms in a major policy shift and said that the U.S. was reviewing others even as it reiterated its long-term support for Israel. Right, let me bring in my guest joining us on this discussion. Professor Harshvi Pant is with us. Professor Pant is Vice President Studies and Foreign Policy at Observer Research Foundation. The ORF is a privately held think tank headquartered in New Delhi. Professor Pant, welcome to DD India News Hour. Great to see you on a weekend in particular. First off, do you see it as a symbolic victory, but a victory nonetheless for the Palestinians?
Certainly, I think this is a very important victory because it comes at a time when Israel is really facing, or it seems to be facing, widespread global isolation. So I think this would be cause for worry for Israel that this has been adopted by this kind of a margin with widespread support across the world, from various regions. And I think particularly because Israel is fighting a war which it feels is an important war for itself, it means that Israel will have to work doubly hard to now put its narrative out, to put its side of the story out, and to also tell its friends and allies as to what is going on, because I think a lot of them don't understand why Israel is pursuing the kind of policies that it is. So I think it is an important victory for Palestinians. Symbolic, yes, but I think a definitive one, in the sense that it shows that the world opinion is moving very, very rapidly in one direction, and that direction is the direction of Palestinian statehood.
Professor Pant, how do you see India's vote for the resolution, and the same goes for other countries, including France for that matter?
I think it's an important, India has always been an important voice when it comes to Palestinian issues. And India has once again, unlike some of the narrative that emerged in recent years, that India has become one-sided, India has once again underscored that it remains committed to this idea of two-state solution. It wants to see a Palestinian state which can live side by side, securely, peacefully with its neighbor, Israel. And I think that is something that, that is there for a large part of the world to ponder about, and particularly Israel also. That that why is it that there has been this surge of support for Palestinian statehood? And I think if Israeli policymakers look inwards a bit, they would find that they are not being able to tell their version very effectively. That they're not able to convince a large part of the world about the rightness of what they are doing, and therefore the voices speaking for Palestinian statehood have increased, have become more vocal. And India in particular has always been a votary of Palestinian statehood. But I think under the present circumstances, to underline that is once again an important voice for India in the global south.
Absolutely. Now, many people watching this broadcast, Professor Pant, and hearing you in particular, would be wondering, where do the Palestinians go from here? I ask you this because the UN General Assembly is now calling on the UN Security Council to admit the Palestinians as a full member. Do you ever see the US agreeing to it, not vetoing it?
Yeah, no, I really can't see that happening anytime soon. I think it would require some kind of a ground arrangement, bilateral arrangement, where the two sides, Israelis and the Palestinians, can actually define the terms of the statehood. What General Assembly has done is it has outlined a principle, but the principle has to converge with the practical realities on the ground. And I think for US will not accept anything less than a fundamental security for Israel. And I think that's where everything boils down to. That when does Israel feel secure enough to initiate this process of actually giving statehood to Palestinians? I don't think under the present circumstances Israel is anywhere closer to that. So I don't think it's likely to move forward in that direction anytime soon.
Right. I also want to get some more Indian perspective from you, Professor Pant. For instance, Prime Minister Modi has said in an interview that to an Indian TV channel that New Delhi dispatched a special envoy to Israel to urge the Israeli government to pause the fighting during Ramzan, the holy month of fasting in Islam. How would you characterize India's ties with the Arab world in general and Israel and the Palestinians in particular?
India, I think, particularly under Prime Minister Modi, has been very, very effective in the Middle East. And I think you have to give credit to the Modi government on the Middle East policy, because they have been remarkably resilient despite the challenges that Middle East continues to throw to the world. So if you're looking at any one country that continues to have such solid ties with most of the stakeholders in the Middle East, it is India. You know, whether you see India and Israel, whether you see India and the Arab states in the Gulf, and even India and Iran for that matter. You know, Iran, for example, had released some of the Indian hostages that were taken, on the Red Sea. So there is a dynamic which is very, very interesting about India's role, and Prime Minister Modi's personal diplomatic engagements with most regional leaders. And I think that's what what we have seen over the last decade under the Modi government, is that this persistent engagement has allowed India a larger voice, a sharper voice, a much more focused voice on regional matters. So therefore, when India tells Israel that, look, you have to get off the war horse, you have to consider giving space to peace especially during the month of Ramadan. I think this is heard, and no one reacts instinctively against it. And I think that shows that India's stature in the region has risen, and India's ties especially with Arab Gulf states, have reached a point where India today, and of course during G20, we heard how India has been trying to make itself a party to the regional economic reordering through what is called IMEC, India, Middle East, Europe Economic Corridor. So I think India's role in the region has risen bilaterally. India's role in the region has grown multilaterally with I2U2 kind of platforms, and of course globally with IMEC-like initiatives.
I'm afraid that's all we have time for, Professor Pant. Thank you for joining us on a weekend in particular and sharing your thoughts and insights with our viewers at home and abroad. Thank you for your time. Much appreciated. Right, moving on to some other news we are tracking on DD India NewsHour now. Russia's defense ministry said on Saturday that it had repelled a string of Ukrainian attacks on its territory using drones and rocket artillery. In a statement posted on Telegram, it said Russian forces downed 21 rockets and 16 drones in the Belgorod, Kursk and Volgograd regions. At least 3 people were killed and 8 injured in an overnight Ukrainian strike at an oil storage depot in the Luhansk region annexed by Russia. The Russia-installed governor of the region said 8 people remained hospitalized after Friday's attack in the town of Rovenki, 60 kilometers from the regional center of Luhansk. The governor suggested that Ukraine used US-supplied weapons. It was the second such assault in 3 days. Right, some other news. Iraq's Prime Minister says it is time for the United Nations assistance program to wind down in the country. It was set up after the US-led invasion of Iraq in 2003. Stuart Smith reports from Baghdad.
As the Americans rolled into Baghdad after toppling autocratic revolutionary Saddam Hussein, a new government had to be set up. A UN-backed resolution created the Assistance Programme for Iraq, which was designed to provide political advice and support, as well as create democratic and legal institutions. The $100 million program employs nearly 800 staff, some international and some Iraqi. But now Prime Minister Mohammed Shia al-Sudani says the mission's help is no longer needed, having completed its tasks and mandate as required. It will be wrapped up by the end of next year, and for the remaining time it's active, the Prime Minister wants the mission's activities to be limited to economic reform, sustainable development and climate change, and no longer be involved in politics. In a letter to the UN, he expressed gratitude for its assistance, but some within the country always felt the institution had too much power in Iraqi affairs. The announcement comes just before before a decision had to be made on whether to renew the programme's mandate for another year. Stuart Smith in Baghdad, reporting for DD India.
And now take a look at what else is making news around the world. Police in the South American country of Peru detained the brother of the country's president on Friday. The arrest was made amid an investigation into alleged influence peddling. More than 200 are feared dead in a flash flood in Afghanistan. The floods have submerged more than 5 districts in the city of Baghlan. A rescue operation is on. Members of the 3 South American indigenous communities have asked Spain and UNESCO to declare a Spanish ship that sank 300 years ago as common and shared heritage. The ship, thought to be carrying one of the largest known collections of maritime treasures, sank in the year 1708 near the port of Cartagena. Eyewitnesses capture the beautiful sky across Russia, Ukraine, Germany, Slovenia, Britain and other parts of Europe. The most powerful solar storm in more than 2 decades struck the Earth on Friday, creating a mesmerizing view, lighting up the night sky in various parts of the world. And still to come on DD India NewsHour. France's football star Kylian Mbappe to leave PSG at the end of the season. And a preview of the Cannes Film Festival. Where does India figure in this year? Find out after a short break.
We are taking a close look at the continent of Europe, the European Union in specific, how it has strengthened and become a major player in the world, and the challenges and opportunities for the European Union as it navigates a difficult global scenario.
We want to be, and we are, a strong pillar in the world architecture, but we want to engage, and we are engaging India precisely as a partner who plays by the rules. So much we can do together because we are democracies, largest democracies. We are playing by the rules. We respect UN Charter. We have not attacked our neighbors.
You're watching DD India NewsHour. I'm Ramesh Ramachandran. In some more news from India now, the Secretary of the Ministry of Mines, V.L. Kanta Rao, inaugurated the registered office of the Khanij Bidesh India Limited in New Delhi. Now, the organization is a joint venture company established by NALCO, HCL and MECL, assigned the crucial task of identifying, exploring, acquiring and developing critical and strategic mineral assets abroad. The organization stands ready to assume a pivotal role in advancing India's progress and self-reliance in critical and strategic minerals, in line with the goals of Make in India and Developed India, as well as India's pursuit of net zero emission objectives.
Khanij Bidesh Limited has been set up to ensure India's presence abroad in doing mining, especially in the area of critical minerals. Kabul has been created in such a way that it is a joint venture of 3 public sector undertakings under the Ministry of Mines. And with the small capital itself, it has made the first big agreement in Argentina by taking 5 critical mineral blocks. These blocks are all of lithium, and these are greenfield projects where Kabul will now do exploration and subsequently mining.
India's index of industrial production grew by 4.9% in March this year. It grew 5.8% in the 23-24 fiscal as compared to a 5.2% expansion in the preceding fiscal. Manufacturing sector saw an output growth of 5.2% in March 2024 as compared to 1.5% in March last year. Mining production rose 1.2% and power output increased 8.6% in March 2024. Now, the jobs reported by India's micro, small and medium enterprises has crossed the 190 million mark. The growth is more than twice in the 800 million jobs registered in November 2022. Since the launch of an Indian government website called U.N.G.A in July 2020, the job count has grown 6.8 times. And now to all the news from the world of sport. Reigning Olympic and World Javelin champion Neeraj Chopra finished second by a whisker at the Doha Diamond League. The Indian star came up with his best throw of 88.36 meters in his sixth and final attempt and missed the top spot by just 0.2 meters. Chopra finished behind Jakub Vladec of the Czech Republic, who clinched the top spot with a best effort of 88.38 meters. The competition is important for all the athletes as it is a perfect platform to prepare for the upcoming Paris Olympics. To football now, Kylian Mbappe has confirmed that he will depart PSG at the end of the season after spending 7 years at the club. Mbappe has long been linked with a move away from the French capital. He is expected to complete a long-awaited deal to join Real Madrid when his contract expires at the end of the season.
French soccer star Kylian Mbappe has confirmed that he is leaving Paris Saint-Germain this summer ahead of an expected move to Real Madrid. The Spanish giant have long been linked with a bid for the World Cup winner, and it finally appears that deal will go through once the transfer window opens and when his contract expires.
Merci Kylian.
I wanted to speak to you. I have always said that I would speak with you all when the time comes. And so I wanted to announce to you that this is my last year at Paris Saint-Germain. I will not extend and the adventure will come to an end in a few weeks. I will play my last game at the Parc des Princes on Sunday.
Mbappe's future has been unclear for months, but there is now an official confirmation from the player himself that he will be departing the city he was born in. Real Madrid had the opportunity to sign the global star last season but refused to pay PSG's hefty asking price and instead opted to wait until he became a free agent. This summer, he will likely to join Vinicius Jr. and Jude Bellingham in Madrid as the Spanish giants assemble one of the most talented squads of the modern era.
It was me, with my qualities and defenses, but I tried to give the best version of myself during those 7 years. But beforehand, I want to say thank you, because without you, all, I would never have experienced half of my emotions I felt.
Europe's most sought-after player will officially become a free agent at the end of June, and all eyes will be on Real Madrid for their expected announcement of the 25-year-old joining them. Mbappe also has international duties to fulfill this summer with France as he looks to lead them to more international silverware at Euro 2024. Sports Desk, DD India.
Cannes Film Festival begins on the 14th of May. So where does India figure in it this year? Munmun Bhattacharya reports.
The azure blue waters of the French Riviera and the iconic 24 steps on the red carpet are beckoning again. The curtain will lift on the Cannes Film Festival on 14th May. And for 12 days, it will be a celebration of an eclectic mix of world cinema and fashion.
The Cannes Film Festival is nothing short of an annual pilgrimage for celebrities, actors, filmmakers, fashionistas and film and fashion aficionados, besides tourists who flock up to this French city to see it unleash its magic year after year. The visibility and popularity of this film festival is such that it is seen as a template for international film festivals around the world. Celebrities walk up the stairway to glory, surrounded by shutterbugs as the world watches in awe. And guess what? Amid the big names such as Meryl Streep, who will be the guest of honor at the opening ceremony, and Greta Gerwig, who's chairing the jury at the festival, India is all set to make a big splash at Cannes this year.
Do you know that India is back in the reckoning in the main competition of the festival after a hiatus of 30 years? Payal Kapadia's debut feature film All We Imagine As Light is the first Indian film to compete for the prestigious Palme d'Or Award in 3 decades. Her documentary, A Night of Knowing Nothing, was the winner of the Golden Eye for Best Documentary during the 2021 edition of the festival. British Indian filmmaker Sandhya Suri's debut feature film Santosh will be screened under the Uncertain Regard section. Sister Midnight by Indian director Karan Kandhari will be shown in Director's Fortnight. Indian director Mesam Ali's In Retreat will have its world premiere in Association for the Diffusion of Independent Cinema. That's a parallel independent sidebar in Cannes. Sunflowers Were First Ones to Know by Chidanand Nayak, a student of Film and Television Institute of India, has been chosen for the La Cinef competitive section. The short film, made in Kannada, was shortlisted among entries from across the globe and will now compete against 17 other international short films in the final stage. Shyam Benegal's Manthan, a film focusing on the Amul Dairy cooperative movement, will be presented in the classic section, adding a touch of historical significance to the festival's Indian lineup. The film reels were preserved for several decades in film walls and later restored. National Award-winning cinematographer Santosh Sivan will be the recipient of the prestigious Peer Ingenue tribute at the festival. He will also deliver a masterclass for Cannes delegates, becoming the first Indian to be honoured with this distinction. The Bharat Pavilion at the festival will be inaugurated on 15th May in the presence of eminent film personalities. Designed by the National Institute of Design in Ahmedabad, the pavilion depicts this year's theme of Create in India.
In the Indian camp, the spotlight is going to be on 2 things. One is a session that is titled Abundant Incentives, Seamless Facilitations, Come Create in India. Here the focus is going to be on how India is offering so many incentives for film production, on co-production opportunities, as well as on post-production facilities in India. Besides that, the focus is also going to be on Bharat Parv. It is for the first time that India is organizing such a festival at the Cannes Film Festival, and the focus there is going to be on networking with film personalities and stakeholders from around the world, besides promoting the 2 marquee international film festivals hosted by India, MIF and IFFI, and of course showcasing Indian talent and opportunities. So come to Cannes, and if you can't, do watch our coverage of the Cannes Film Festival on DD News and DD India, and get ready for India to unleash its magic at the Cannes Film Festival in 2024. With cameraman YK Loknath, this is Mundan Bhattacharya for DD India.
Every year, people around the corner celebrate World Migratory Bird Day. In connection with that, Kaziranga National Park in India, one of the world's largest migratory bird sanctuaries, observes the day. There are many different species of migratory birds that arrive in the Kaziranga National Park in the winter every year. The theme of World Migratory Bird Day 2024 is Protect Insects, Protect Birds. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of DD India News Up. For those of you on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates on the DD India mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms.